Okay, this video is for lefties. We are going to, this is how to reduce the last 3 rows so that your hat doesn't have a whole lot of extra bulk on the top. So in the beginning, when we set up our loom, we put these blue pegs every 6 pegs. And that's where this comes into play. This is where that is important. We are going to say that the blue peg is number 1. Blue pegs are number 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then again, we start over at 1, 2, okay? So for this step, you have finished your 3 rows of yellow after your black stripe. And what you're going to do is take the loop that is on number 2, number 1 is blue, 2 is the next one. The loop comes off of this peg and gets put onto, and yes, it's not, shoot, it's not the most fun to do. It's kind of a pain. Okay, so obviously if it comes off of your hook, that's okay. You can save it. Just make sure you catch that loop and put the loop from number 2 onto number 1. Okay, and then we're going to knit this off. Now that we have 2 loops, we're going to knit it off. And then we're going to move to the next section and we're going to put 2 on 1. I just lost it again. Okay, I've got 2 loops on the peg, and I'm going to knit it off. Okay, that's the second section. So I'm going to have a blue peg and then an empty peg. Blue peg, empty peg. All the way around. There are 6 sections, so you're going to do this 6 times. And then when you get all the way back to the anchor peg, when you're finished with this section, you will knit a row around, just like you would have normally. And I will see you back after I finish doing these sections, and we'll start that. Okay, so I have finished putting my number 2 loop onto my blue peg all the way around. And now I'm going to knit a row. But this time, when I knit a row, I'm going to wrap the pegs only that have loops. So I'm going to skip this peg and wrap here. And then knit. Okay, I'm back to a blue peg. So I'm going to skip the blank peg and keep knitting all the way around, but you're going to skip these blank ones. It just goes right behind there. And I'll see you back at the beginning again. Okay, so back at the beginning here. I have just finished knitting around 1 row where I skipped peg number 2 because it didn't have a loop on it. I came all the way back around to my anchor peg, so I've finished a row. And we're going to leave our tail. I'm not going to cut it. And we're going to reduce again, which is basically the same thing we did before. Before we took 2 onto number 1. Right now, we're going to take number 4 onto number 3. So we're going to remember our numbers. It's number 1 is blue, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we are going to move the loop on 4 onto peg 3. I'm going to see if I can do this. So I've got 2 loops on peg 3. 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to have 2 skipped pegs. Numbers 2 and 4 are going to be skipped. I'm going to knit this one off. And I'm going to move to the next section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to move number 4 onto number 3. And I'm going to do that all the way around in each section 6 times. And then I will see you back here at the beginning. Okay, here we are again. Back at the beginning. I have moved every number 4 onto every number 3. So each section should look like loop on 1, empty on 2, loop on 3, empty on 4, loop 5 and 6. Okay? So now I'm going to knit again around one circle. Skip, wrap, skip, wrap, wrap, wrap. Skipping the empty pegs. And I'll see you back at the beginning when we're done with that row. Okay, here we are back again. Back at the start where I began. And I have my number 1 peg, has a loop on it. My number 2 peg is empty. 3 has a loop. 4 is empty. 5 and 6 have loops. Okay, so now we're going to move 6, number 6, onto 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to move 6 onto the 5 peg. Does not like me. There. 6, 5. So when we're done, we're going to end up with loops on 1, 3, and 5. Knit. So we only have 1. Every other peg is going to have a loop. And we're going to do that all the way around. So I'm going to come here. I've got 2 loops. This is 5 and 6. 6 is going to come onto 5. And we're going to do that in every section all the way around. Okay, I'm moving this last number 6 onto number 5. And this is the last one on the row. So this is the working yarn. And when you pull it, it's going to go really loose on you. So just be very careful. And if it does get super loose, then you just kind of pull on it, tighten up that knot so it's not crazy loose. Otherwise, I kind of just use my thumb and kind of push it in. You still want it to be able to slide up and down like we have been doing, but you don't want this massive loop that's super loose. And then we'll knit this off. Okay, and now I have a loop on every other peg, and I'm going to knit one more row, skipping every peg that doesn't have a loop. And as we finish this last row, I will see you back at the beginning and we will take our hat off the loom.